Hello boys and girls, I'm back and I want to talk drums one more time. Today I want to show you how to get a killer rock and roll drum sound with only using 2 microphones. And when I say killer, I mean it. I'm talking about an interesting drum sound, something with character, mojo, cool vibes, something that grabs your attention, something cool. We don't need a boring drum sound. So let's get started. Let's do that now. So I had a really cool drum session until yesterday with a rock and roll band. And I thought I have to show you this because it's so interesting. So we actually tracked, 16 microphones or something. The usual setup. You throw a lot of mics onto a drum kit, and that is important because you want to be flexible. You want to be able to tweak all the single components of a drum kit. And if you do metal, it's even more important because you need all those closed mics to make the drums audible in a dense metal mix. But the more you enter rock or rock and roll territory, the more you can play with unusual mic setups and even with minimalistic mic setups. And that's what I want to show you today. I want you to think outside the box, and I want to inspire you to try something else next time you record drums. Here we go. So let's have a listen to our recording. So this is the multi-track setup, and you can hear the drummer just playing some random grooves during the sound check. Let's go. I don't have any footage of the drummer, so I will do some really cool dance moves to compensate that, okay? You are listening to completely unprocessed drum tracks here. No plugins, no EQ, no reverb whatsoever. This is just the raw material. So nothing wrong with this, right? Sounds great. Let me show you the tracks. First. So first of all, we got the overheads. It's a pair of Rode ribbon mics. Sounds like this. I also used another pair of overhead microphones, some pencil condensers, which I'm not going to use in the mix. Listen, this is how they sound. And this is a good example why I like or why I prefer ribbons on overheads. Let me switch back to the ribbons. Darker, but so much more character. I prefer ribbons or darker sounding large diaphragm condensers. Anyway, this is the snare. Snare bottom. Snare top bottom together. This is my main kick mic, an Audix D6. And I don't know if you've watched my metal kick drum video, but this is a very different kick drum sound I'm using here. Just listen to the kick through my iPhone. Awesome. No dampening on the kick, and it's tuned quite high, so you get a real long sounding tone or note, a bong bong. I would never use a sound like this in a metal production, but it has so much character for a groove like this. Second kick mic is an SEV kick, but not in the modern setting, in the other one. Together, both kick mics. Here we have the toms, 2 toms. They're already gated. They sound nice as well. Of course, they need some EQ. You always need to add some top end to toms and to remove some boxy 400 or 500 hertz or something. But I'm pretty sure they will sound great later. Then we have a hi-hat microphone. A ride microphone. And here are the interesting microphones. Our first pair of room microphones. Maybe you've seen my video about room microphones, and you know I always place a pair up here. Can you see that? That's my washy pair of room mics. Sounds like this. So that was actually turned off right now. Let me just mix it in. Sounds very roomy, right? I like it. Again, that's my washy, kind of thin sounding pair of room mics. And we got another pair. You can see it here. That is a Bloomline setup of 2 ribbons from No Hype Audio. And it sounds like this. And you know, the best position to capture the body of a kick drum is right in front of the drum kit. That's why I put them there. Just listen to the kick drum on this pair of room mics. So that can make your kick drum sound a lot bigger. You know, the closed mics will give you the click, and a microphone like this will give you the body. Let me just mix it in. Those are the little tricks that make a drum kit sound larger than life. So this sounds great. I know this sounds great, but it's maybe a little boring. It's very transparent and good sounding, but maybe, yeah, we need something else. We need more mojo. So let me introduce another microphone. This is the kick drum, and you can see behind the gobo, we have a Sony microphone here. And this is already a pretty dark sounding condenser microphone. Sounds great, by the way. And the idea is I want this microphone to pick up the kick drum, but in a darker way, like the low end of the kick drum. And the gobo is taking away a lot of the higher frequencies. And I also want this microphone to pick up the entire drum kit, but in a darker way. All right, let's have a listen to this microphone. I call it the boom mic. And you can hear it picks up the entire drum kit in favor of the kick drum. So let's give it some character. And I'm using an extreme compressor here, this one, the talkback limiter from Cornev, which is a copy of the SSL listen back compressor or listen mic compressor, whatever. Extreme compression. And I'm even using the mic setting here, which is very extreme, and then I'm mixing in just a touch of that compression. It's still extreme. Let's have a listen. So that makes things sound a little more trashy, but it also brings up all the more quiet details of the drum performance. Cool. So I copied this track here. Let's have another listen. That actually sounds great. It needs a little EQ, but we'll do that later. But first of all, I want more snare. So I will also copy the main snare track and mix it in. Let's have a listen. That just works fantastic, right? Just 2 microphones. Okay, let's process those microphones a little more so we can glue them together into something even better. First of all, let's just listen to the boom mic again. I will add an EQ before the compressor. And let's just start here. Remove some of the upper bass frequencies, add a low cut. Sound a little cleaner. And you might also want to reduce the highs a little more, but let's do that later. Then I will route both those microphones to a new drum group, which is called MOJO drums here. Then I will add another EQ, removing some of the lower mids. And removing the lower mids and the upper bass basically means you are making things sound a little cleaner. So let's have a listen. We're doing this to both tracks. So that makes them sound a little less lo-fi. Next thing is we want to glue them together, so we need compression. I'm using Pro C2 here. Pretty simple setting. Fast release, medium attack. In the clean setting, you could also use the bus setting. And I added a low cut. So we have around 3 dB of compression, which kind of melts those two microphones together. So it sounds more like one microphone in the end, if you ask me. More like a drum kit and not like single tracks together. And this already has a lot of character. So now we have a mono drum mix consisting of 2 microphones. And I want to make this sound a little more realistic. And I have 2 options, 2 things I can do here. One would be to just add a little ambience, a little reverb. So let's do that now. So this is Altiverb adding 35% of ambient. Nice. But something else we could do would be to use one of the other tracks we have, one of the stereo tracks we have. For example, one of the room tracks or the overheads. So let me slightly mix in the overheads. Let's have a listen to the overheads one more time. They sound like this. They sound a little too clean for my taste right now. So I will add another very extreme sounding compression plugin, and this is Devil Lock from Sound Toys, which is an extreme compressor and also distortion. And this makes the overheads sound a little more like the other 2 microphones we have. And now we can decide how much of the overheads we want. The more we add, the more highs we will get, the more stereo the drums will sound, and the less direct they will become. Let's do that now. Let's mix in the overheads. That sounds great, right? That sounds great. So much character here because of the compression and because those tracks just melt together. And by the way, the overheads are also going into the same group. So they are also compressed together with those 2 other tracks. So if I leave them at, what is it, like around 25 or let's go to 22 dB, they just give you a touch of the room and a touch of stereo. But if you want more, just crank them a little bit. And this almost sounds like the theme of a Netflix series, right? It has become popular to use those extremely compressed drum sounds because they have so much character. Didn't they have something like this in Fargo? I know there's a German series called Jerks. Kennt jemand Jerks von euch da draußen? They also use a sound like this. So right now we're using 3 tracks and they give us a drum sound where we can hear the entire kit with a lot of character, right? So let's go back to where we started, to our multi-track session. And multi-track. I mean, that sounded cool when I started the video, right? But now in comparison, it just sounds pale or, yeah, a little boring. Nothing wrong with it, right? But those 3 microphones have a lot more mojo. Even just those 2. Let's go back to the multi-tracks. So that is the controlled version. Sounds good, but slightly boring. So I hope this is inspiring to you, to experiment with extreme compression, EQing, and weird experimental mic placements. But you know what? Let's just add all microphones together. Let's start with the multi-tracks, and then I will add those additional 3 tracks. Let's go. So you can achieve a lot of different sounds with this. You might just want to start with the verse, with the multi-tracks kind of clean sounding, and then add those 3 other tracks in the chorus to make it bigger, wider, give it more mojo, make it more interesting. Or you can mix them all the time, or you can switch between the 3 tracks and the multi-tracks on different parts. A lot of options that will make your drum sound more interesting, right? So next time you record drums, make sure to have some experimental microphones somewhere and to use shitloads of compression because it's fun. Let's have a final listen to our 3 tracks. I think that's all for today. I hope I could inspire you, to do some experiments on your next drum session. This was just a quick and dirty video because I felt like, hey, this sounds wonderful. I need to show you this, right? I'll be back with more videos. In the meantime, you can subscribe to this channel, click clock, ring the bell, ding dong. So the other boring stuff. Subscribe to my socials if you like what I'm doing. Subscribe to my email list. That's also cool. If you want to be informed about anything I do, products, courses, YouTube videos, you name it. And finally, I'll promise not to dance in any future videos. I know it's hard to concentrate on the drums when you see me making those hot moves, right? I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to do that. That's all for today. See you in hell, motherfuckers. Bye-bye.